Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Patrick Flynn, the Hormone Whisperer. Welcome to the Wellness Way Quick Tips. Today, fun topic, okay? But we're gonna have a little bit more than just fun, because we're gonna do some demonstration today because it's a great topic because there's such a debate on it. So we're gonna kind of go through some things from our perspective. So the idea is this: as you notice, everything that we do, we always give a little bit of spin on it. When we did essential oils last week, we gave a good spin on it that way, and so people were definitely. Thank you for all the comments. Please do me a favor. Right now, like and share. Let me know where you're at that way, because I got you right here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Trisha. It's kind of cool. Like and share and do the things for me, because like I said, I'm always going to come from a different angle. That's why the Wellness Way has actually become so, unique in its approach, because once again, you can just basically Google things and see what everybody thinks about stuff, and it's all kind of the same thing. So today, one of the most used drugs in the world, coffee. Now, the reason why you say use drugs, because actually one of the most, it's classified a little bit like that because there's the stimulant that way. But at the end, you're gonna understand my perspective on it and what I think about coffee that way. And then we're gonna have something, I can't believe we're doing it on camera, but Brandon's already laughing. We're gonna have some fun today. So coffee, okay, a different angle. So where are we coming from it? Like I said, step number one. The one thing that you wanna know, obviously, is the benefits and risks. Okay, there are benefits, but also too there are risks. You say, doc, as a practicing doc that takes care of people, and someone comes and says, what would be one of the major reasons why you wouldn't have a person have coffee? Okay, actually it's very simple. Every year, no joke, I get my allergy test done, just like my wife does, just like my kids do, and things like that. And here's what happens. I pray to God every time that's not on my allergy list. You can be allergic to coffee. You can, yes you can. You can have an anaphylactic response to it. You can have an IgG response to it. You can have an IgM within the GI, IgA response to it that way. Very common, okay? But you don't know that unless you've been tested. So one of the biggest risks is, if you're allergic to it, don't have it, okay? But that goes for any food that way. But that is a risk. So a lot of people, for example, sometimes have coffee and they feel bloated and gassy after, and they're blaming the coffee, and it's not really the coffee, it's just that you're reacting to it. Their immune system doesn't like it, and that does happen. So that's why every year when you get your test done, you just hope it's not on there. Now, a lot of times coffee becomes an allergy because why? Because they have it too much. Remember, there is the old rule. You don't want to have something consistently every day, otherwise you have a chance of causing your immune system to trigger to it. That happens with coffee. Now, I'd say another part that actually I just had this conversation with a doc that I'm taking care of, okay? She had some very bad hormonal problems, and after we did her hormone panel, her cortisol levels were extremely high, all right? So I looked at her and she's like, doc, can I have coffee? Well, here's what happens. I told her I didn't really want her to have coffee because with the high stimulant, you can actually make cortisol levels go a little bit more crazy that way. So don't do it during that time, okay? So just understand, I want people to actually understand the benefits, but there are multiple times where, for example, it's not good for you that way. Now, on the flip side, if the adrenals kind of puke out and you're dragging butt, coffee actually has a little bit of benefit of giving you that pick-me-up that way. But if your adrenals are actually at a very high level, you know what I'm saying, guess what happens? Especially at night. Maybe you could get away with having, if your adrenals are kind of overstimulated, having coffee in the morning, but you definitely can't have it at night because the stimulation will have an effect on your sleep and you won't get big sleep. Benefits, my goodness. Now this is where, for example, the people that are actually so big onto the benefits coffee, they just so weigh the benefits because there's significant health benefits to it. I mean, significant health benefits to coffee. Everything from cardiovascular to liver to blood sugar. I'm going to show you today the angle I'm going to take with coffee that way, because not only is it practiced, for example, with myself, but I also train patients, and all of our offices train patients to do these things that way. That's why today we're going to have a little fun and show you one of the things that we do with coffee that actually is pretty good, and it's not going in our mouth. I know what you guys are thinking, but it's not going there either, but we'll get into it that way. So understand, there are great benefits to coffee. Google search them, trust me. There's great things for the liver. Actually, it's been shown that even with people with hepatitis, that way that liver has a benefit on the liver that way. Now why? Because there's pathways within the liver that are stimulated to actually release toxins and make the liver better to deal with other things within the body. Okay, it flushes out the gallbladder. Okay, you're going to find one of the greatest benefits we're going to get to in just 3 steps from here is we're going to talk about what effect it has on the GI that way. Okay, so just understand. I'm not going to go through the benefits and risks. Just understand there's both. I gave you the 2 risks that I would do just because that's probably more that we should know, because there's massive health benefits that you can read from great doctors that have read about it. Actually, you can go to some of the major important coffee places that way that actually have read blogs about it that give you great benefits and put great studies from all the nutritional journals that have done a wonderful job with it. So that's pretty simple there. Second of all, here we go. Number 2. Exchange of nutrients. There's a big one. There's probably one of the biggest things I want people to understand about it that way is, here we go. If you think of it this way, coffee has a really unique effect that I think makes it very special, okay? Is what it does a great job of exchanging nutrients between cells. It does, okay? To the point that, for example, if you consume it too much, you can actually lose some nutrients. That's some of the biggest criticisms about it, is the fact that what it'll do is, people say, well, Doc, having too much coffee, for example, you can deplete some sodium and potassium. Well, the reason why that happens is this, is coffee can actually cause the exchange of nutrients by changing and actually stimulating the sodium potassium pump, okay, which is the way that we get most nutrients in and out of a cell that way. So that's why, for example, coffee can drive things into a cell. Now, why is that important? Okay, it creates some, increase in blood flow. It actually changes our skin dramatically that way. It also causes nutrients to actually pass membranes much easier that way. Now, here's why it's so big, and this is why the brand of coffee is so important, okay? This is my personal thing. I have no ties to them. You're going to hear me say that every time I talk about product, that I have no ties to them. But you got to be careful, for example, what kind of coffee you do, because coffee itself, the last stat I read was something like 250 to 300 pounds of pesticides per acre exist to produce coffee from seed to get it to the shelf that way. That's a lot of toxins. And you guys know glycophosphates and other toxins, for example, actually are very damaging, cancer-causing, inflammatory to our body. So think about this. If coffee can exchange the amount of nutrients and stuff there, it can also drive toxicity, sugar, other things that, for example, don't belong in the cell that way to get in too easy. Okay? Well, those things like glycophosphates don't belong in there anyways. But let's say this. So let's say you have a processed, non-organic, non-mycotoxin coffee. For example, mycotoxins are all the bacteria and stuff that live on it that way. And then you throw it into a bunch of processed syrup, and then you throw in some dairy in there. What you're just doing by having the coffee in there, even though they're full of chemicals and all stuff like that, coffee's still going to do its job. And it's going to take those things, it's going to drive it deep into a cell, and you wonder why, for example, people talk about coffee being bad. Okay? Coffee's really bad if you have a form, for example, that not only, for example, will perform its dilation and do everything to drive into a cell, but if it's just full of pesticides and you throw, people throw their crappy creamers on it and all the processed sugars, it drives it deep into a cell, so therefore it makes your cells sick. That's why people talk about coffee being bad. If there's one thing that I hate when people say, well, coffee's bad. No, Folgers is bad. Okay? All this crap is bad that way. So just understand, your form of coffee it's very important. So because why? Because it creates such an exchange of nutrients and toxins within the body that you got to be careful what you have with coffee. See, that's the different angle. Make sure the brand is proper, and make sure, for example, what you have with coffee. Because whatever you eat, whatever you substitute in with coffee that way, it's getting to a cell very easily. That's the big part. So I tell people, take your good fatty acids. That's why something became very popular. And actually, I like the Bulletproof brand because they're very big on keeping mycotoxins and other molds out of it that way. Because all of a sudden, because there are some organic brands that you got to watch that, for example, you want to move towards organic because you have the less pesticides. But organic brands don't always guarantee that you're not going to have some molds and funguses on there. That's why you got to be very particular about what kind of coffee brand you do. That's why I like Bulletproof that way. Now there's other brands that are wrong. Once again, I have no tie to Bulletproof, but I want you guys to understand it's one of my favorite that way. Actually, even our demonstration today, we actually use Bulletproof in there. Okay? So understand that whatever you have, now this is the biggest part number 2, whatever you drink or eat with coffee is going to get deep into a cell. Remember that. So if you're actually going to want to get some good fatty acid, like you could take some ghee, which for example, you got all those great fatty acids, put some ghee in that coffee, that's going to drive deep into our cells because the nutrients within that coffee is a vasodilator. It's going to drive it into there, and you're going to get the benefit of it that way. Now imagine that you take a Starbucks syrup, okay, that has some sweetener in there that doesn't belong in our cell. It's going to drive it in there. And that's why people actually have gotten critical of coffee, because why? Because of what they've added to it, not only the toxicity that comes from pesticides, but also that. I think that's one of the biggest keys. Number 3, like I told you before, coffee enemas, okay? One of the major benefits, so let's go back to here to relate to this. One of the major benefits of coffee is what it does. It does a great job of stimulating collagen and elastin, and a lot of people don't talk about that. That's the angle I want to come from. Collagen makes up about 30% of all proteins within our body. But see, what happens is what really makes our skin, our tissues stretchable, like a rubber band that stretches and comes back, is elastin, okay? Coffee does a great job of stimulating the production of both of them. Well, we know this, guys. Leaky gut is one of the most intense things that most people deal with. That's why it's a very common term today. The medical term is intestinal hyperpermeability. But that's why, for example, coffee enemas have done a massive job of changing people's health, okay? Now, the only part that people freak out about is obviously, yes, there's a tube going in your rear end. But guys, trust me, it's one of the most beneficial, cheap health things that you can do. What happens? Well, when the coffee goes in rectally, and remember, people realize a lot of our nutrients are mainly, you get some production and massive absorption and exchange of nutrients in that large intestine that way. It makes it easier for that to happen. Second of all, it makes it easier for toxins to come out. That's why things flush out so well. Plus being a stimulant, it stimulates the large intestinal cells to contract, and that's why everything moves out and can clear out constipation. Cheap, easy, simple, effective care that can be done on a regular basis that way. Now, there are people that do it excessively and do it every day. Got to be careful. You don't want to flush your normal flora and your bacteria out that way. But understand, coffee enemas now, because the cells of the GI tract inside directly get the coffee, you get a better collagen and a better elastin production there. Think about that. So you get a better way of closing that leaky gut, so therefore you don't have the things passing through that don't belong. See, that's the big part that they forget about. Now, that's fantastic for the intestinal tract. Absolutely fantastic for the intestinal tract that does that. So simple, so easy, cheap, several cups of coffee that way, mix some water in there. It's a wonderful thing to do. But just understand, there's massive collagen and elastin production within the GI tract by doing that. Now, for our step number 4, okay? Brandon's already getting thing. Coffee masks. This is the best part, okay? Brandon. So we're doing something, yes, this is going to be fun. We're doing something pretty fun today because, not a joke. My nephew, saying he's going to chiropractic school actually next year. It's kind of cool, but he's been my how do you say, my young protege, my nephew. Like I said, it's for a long time. It's kind of cool. So he's following this process that way. So we actually did something today related to the coffee topic. Yes, it doesn't look like that's not what came out during the coffee enema. No, but what this is actually is we took the ingredients that you want to get into your skin. You do. So what we added in there, and this is a great mask. It's detoxifying, but what it also does, it drives that nutrients and everything into our skin. So what happens is there's coffee grounds. Okay, so we use bulletproof coffee for that. There's coffee grounds that are there. We used an avocado for all the great essential fatty acids that, guys, listen, think about this, guys. Our skin is the farthest away from our body. Now, I want you to think about that. It's the farthest thing away from our body. That's why you need to feed your skin, okay? So it's kind of cool. What else we put in there?
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil. Now, I know, some people freaked out last time we talked about coconut oil for skin that way. But understand, coconut oil for a lot of people is amazing for their skin, okay? But there's other oils. You could have put olive oil in there. You could have put multiple. You could have put aloe in there, okay? You could have put avocado oil in there. You could have done a lot of things. So just understand, for my skin and his skin, it works coconut oil works great. Trust me, I wish all this beauty was natural. And I'm proud of this. I got nice skin, okay? Well, it's because I understand how to take it. A lot of women actually say, Doc, I can't take care of my skin. Well, you don't know how to take care of your skin, so these are things you can do. So we had, so for our remedy, coconut oil, avocado, honey. Okay, honey's a very important thing for the skin. Not only microbial, just like actually the lauric acid within coconut oil, but actually has a massive amount of, for example, nutrients. Honey is a very, very, very good nutrient. Incredible for the skin. Okay, that's why even beeswax, you could have put beeswax in there too. And our last thing we put in there?
What did we put in there last? I don't even remember. We just mixed together.
Cacao,
cacao. Right,
chocolate. Chocolate, for example, hey, you know what we do? We got to do just actually a quick tip on chocolate, okay? So what happens is cacao is the major, for example, has theobromine in there, which once again creates that driving effect also, just like, that's why theobromine and caffeine are actually kind of, you know, cousins that way. But once again, magnesium, great antioxidants, just like coffee has for the skin that way. Great, for example, even this is even good if you have a sunburn. Last, we actually put 2 essential oils in there, because once again, I'm not a fan of putting essential oils directly on the skin, but I do like essential oils mixed in things for the skin that way. So once again, guys, what's my favorite oil? Frankincense. Frankincense. And we put us in lavender. 2 of my favorite things for the skin. Now I'm just going to take a second here and just say hi to all the people that, for example, that are made comments on there that way. So I appreciate it. And then we're going to get this and we're going to apply it. We're going to put a Dr. Patrick face mask on today. Okay, so yes, we're going to do it. Hello, Kathleen. Hey, Dan Walters, one of my close friends that way. He's a pharmacist down here. Dr. Jeremy, Carrie, hello guys. Morning, Pat. Kelly, Tomahawk. Interesting. Yes, thank you on there. Hi, Amanda. Amanda, thank you for the comment of me and my working out, getting 100 days strong. So you get a free t-shirt. Yes, feel the guns, okay? No, but here's what happens. So we're gonna apply this because no joke. So you're gonna watch, yes, this is kind of funny, ask my wife. I'll put a face mask on and get this, it's all in here, you know what I'm saying? So no, you have to put it on here. Yeah. So put on, so now he's never done this to me before. So what he's doing now, he's just applying the face mask, and it'll sit there and we'll let it go for about a good 15 minutes, and you can put it above on my forehead.
Your all
yeah, forehead.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
It's soft up here.
It's I do have a nice head, okay? It's actually, but it's because we consistently put oil on there and everything. Now I cannot believe, yes, we have this on camera live, okay?
This is horrible, but it's awesome.
It's, yes, I know, but see, it actually looks like this. It looks like just big old chocolate going on there.
So another little layer on
put a layer.
Yeah, oh yeah, get it thick.
There it goes, thick.
There you go.
And I know some of you guys are probably commenting and laughing, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because my wife will see me like this. My girls will see me like this. Oh, he's going to put some on his cheeks. Well, you have to stop the camera though, okay? Oh, yeah. So anyways, as you apply this, it sits, and actually right now with the essential oils of lavender and frankincense and actually the coffee itself, it creates a vasodilator effect right now, and no joke, and so those fatty acids now are going in and driving the nutrients into the skin. So all of this can be, you know, all pretty and soft. But like Brandon did say, my head is soft, my skin is soft, because these are normal things. So I'm actually going to put a little bit on my hands and stuff like that, let it sit here, and I can imagine when I watch this on camera later what I'd look like and stuff like that. So much on?
Put some more on while you're talking.
Yeah, so I'll put some more on as I'm applying that way. So anyways, so thank you everybody. Let's recap really quick as I push my little button here. If you look at it this way, there's massive benefits and risks to actually coffee. You can read about them. You got my view on it that way. The biggest thing I want you to know is there's a massive exchange of nutrients and toxins. So not only is this mask, for example, not only going to drive those nutrients in that we want, it's also going to extract some of those toxins out. Wonderful thing to actually build our elastin and the collagen within the GI tract by doing coffee enemas. Once again, I don't sell coffee enemas kits. Just Google coffee enema kits, and you can find some nice ones for like 30, 40 bucks online. Coffee masks, as you can see right now, I'm going to let this sit here for about 15 minutes before I wash it off and stuff like that, let all the nutrients soak in. So once again, I hope I always bring you a different angle. I hope I always bring you some great information. I hope right now you guys are making fun of me online, because I appreciate it, because I will do that for you. The Wellness Way clinics, for example, all of our docs, for example, they're kind of crazy like I am. They just love taking care of people. They love doing things that benefit you. We're always going to bring you the best information there is. So once again, Thank you for all you guys that were in the Carolinas this past week watching where last summer is the year that way. Can't wait to gear it up for next year that way. So once again, Dr. Patrick Flynn, the Hormone Whisperer, here live in Green Bay. We just got some nice snow, so we're going to go enjoy and play it today. So thank you so much for watching. Please do me a favor before you do it. Please like and share and let them know how crazy I am, because I'm going to put the picture up right away that we're actually doing these things, because once again, it's for your benefit, because I want you guys to have beautiful, radiant skin, beautiful, radiant GIs that way, and there's simple, easy ways to do it. Have a wonderful day.